weight loss is not what we're doing this for. I know that you may think you're doing this for weight loss, but if your why is weight loss, I want you to find a new why. Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 272.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we're on the ocean, you'll be alerted to it.
So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. Live from, well, sort of live. We're recording this.
Not live. The opposite of live.
While we are on the low-carb cruise. And also, welcome to Rachel's bedroom for tonight. And if you are on the low-carb cruise currently,
you know why.
You know why.
Yes.
Rachel is sleeping on the balcony tonight. Why are you sleeping on the balcony tonight?
Well, Dr. Donald Vega spoke today, and I may have suggested that he was a decent looking man. And we'll leave it there.
And he wasn't the only person that you said that about.
I know. But you know what? I'd like to say right now publicly and on record, on video, that I think that I'm sitting right now next to the most handsomest, wonderfulest man that's so generous and gracious that he's going to let me back in our suite, hopefully, or our room, hopefully.
We'll see how the night ends.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we actually just got back from dinner.
Oh.
We went to Chop's Grill.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was so good. We ate like 4 appetizers apiece.
So I love that every single ship is different. And so decorations are different. And this particular Chops was smaller than the one we were in before, I feel like, and different position on the ship. And it just was perfectly decorated. It was just a very warm, inviting environment, and the food was off the chain.
The food was amazing. As a matter of fact, we had dinner with Chris Miller and Megan.
Yes.
And so we have the unlimited dining package. So Chris decided she wanted to come eat with us. Good. And when she got her bill, she was like, this was cheaper to go in Texas Roadhouse and the food was better. And it's like, how many appetizers you want, don't worry about it.
Well,
like, you can have them all.
And that's really the thing you have to keep in mind. If you do go on a cruise, and even if there's specialty dining, make sure that you're checking with your cruise line. But as for Royal Caribbean, if you get the specialty dining package, you're able to get like as much on the menu as you would like. So I got, like 4 appetizers alone on top of the entree. So don't be shy, speak up, ask up. At the end, Chris and I really wanted a cup of coffee, but we were not certain that was included. We thought that maybe it was an extra charge. And so we were like, you know what, I'll get coffee later, the free coffee. We really wanted to get coffee there. But so Joe spoke up and said, hey, is the coffee included? And the waiter said, yes, it is. So I'm really glad that you spoke up. They don't mind getting questions. We were, respectful when we gave those questions. So yeah, it was delicious.
So far, low carb cruise has been amazing. We've had 2 days of conferences. Now we have 3 straight port days. And so now our vacation begins.
Yes.
I'm super excited about it. But the conference part so far has been amazing. One speaker, and it's funny because nobody knows what each person's going to talk about. And it just like everything plays on top of each other. And I think so far, one of my highlights was Bronson talking about is like, you need to stay in your lane. And when you're looking on YouTube, just because a YouTuber says it doesn't mean that applies to you. It's something we've talked about and Dr. Barry has talked about is if somebody says like, hey, sardines are great for you to eat for 3 straight days, that doesn't necessarily mean you.
Right.
It means a certain person.
Well, it's interesting because I think we've talked a lot about the whole N=1 experiment as far as like you vetting like what is right for you on your side. But you also have to think about who you're watching. Like what about the influencer side? When it comes to listening to somebody, everything that they're saying may not be exactly for you. You can continue to enjoy watching them. Other people that may completely line up with what they're talking about, you may be able to pass that information on to somebody else. But, you know, just because somebody is talking about, let's say, kidney stones, if you do not suffer from kidney stones, you may not need to put into practice exactly what is being, you know, talked about in a particular, you know, episode of their podcast or, you know, of their channel that's talking specifically about treating kidney stones. I don't need to change my diet based on, you know, what they're talking about on that topic.
You know, it's even like the scale. So if you didn't see the video back in December, we went on a personal vacation cruise and we came to the conclusion that the scale was not good for our mental health. So we made this decision that we weren't going to use the scale anymore in our journey. That doesn't mean you need to throw out the scale. Now, if you have a really unhealthy relationship with the scale and that scale is dictating your day because you just can't come to an agreement with yourself that your weight can fluctuate 5-10 pounds in a day, maybe that's a good thing for you. But if you are a person where, listen, you get on that scale like, that's good. Like, I know it's going to fluctuate and I'm good. And I'm just looking at trends. That's fine. But every person is different. And so far it's been great. We have a few days off. Then we're going to be speaking on Thursday. And for those of you who are not on the low carb cruise, we are going to record our presentation so that you all can see it. But I do want to say Low Carb Cruise 2025, which is going to Alaska, they're selling out. So you might want to use the link down below. We don't make any money. We will be there.
We will definitely be there.
But you're definitely going to want to go on it. In fact, Debbie just got all of the balcony cabins reduced by almost $1,000.
That is super significant.
And she was able to apply that price to even people who are going to sign up. And if you can't wait till then, we have the 2KK Getaway Cruise. It's filling up. We still have balcony cabins. We still have a few interior cabins left, but it is filling up because we have capped that at 100 people. We will not take more than 100 people with us because it's all about community. There's no speakers. It's just about hanging out. And we're over 60 now. So link for that is down below with all of the information. But in all seriousness, we are coming to you from the balcony of our cabin. And it was funny, before dinner, I was trying to set up the camera. And it's like, how do you know when you're in the Caribbean is humidity?
Humidity.
So I brought the camera out here and the lens kept fogging up with mist and I'm like cleaning it off and like it kept coming back and then I'd clean it off and it would come back. I'm like, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. So my solution was leave the camera on the balcony while we're eating dinner so that it could adjust to the temperature. It seems to be working. Hopefully the sound is coming through great. I have no idea. And we're not going to edit this. So if we make a blooper, guess what? You get to see a blooper because we've got to upload this. Also, this one's going to be a little different. I'm not going to put the questions that we're going to answer across the bottom because that's extra editing time. And I want to get this thing uploading.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are new to our channel, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. Normally we do this live on Mondays at 10 a.m. But we're on the low carb cruise, so we're not going to rely on the ship Wi-Fi to go live.
We don't want to take a chance.
So it will just go up at 10 a.m. But it's all about subscribers. We love to celebrate wins. We love to read success stories. A success story doesn't need to mean that you've lost 100 pounds. It could be, I've, for the first time in my life, gone 3 days without sugar. That's a win. And we're going to ask you to share those stories in our Mighty Networks group, members.2krazyketos.com. It's completely free. In our Facebook group, in the comments section down here, because when you share your story, it does two things. Number one, it's going to remind you of where you came from. I sometimes forget that I used to weigh over 300 pounds. And we say it a lot because we do this. But I forget when I see those pictures, I'm like, Oh.
It's an interesting thing. So we're getting prepared. One of the ports here is Puerto Rico. Really excited about that. And for the first time,
we're going to live life beyond the couch.
We're going to go zip lining. And it wasn't until I looked at the ticket for us for that excursion that I see on it that there is a weight limit.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, when I first looked at it, I looked at it through the lens of somebody who, if there's a 250-pound weight limit, I would not be able to participate. So at first I was like, oh, and then I actually remembered that I have had a change in my life. But it's in those moments where, you know, I found myself back at times when, you know, the kids had an opportunity to go horseback riding and I had to say, hey, can we go do something else because I can't participate in this activity. So it was an interesting thing to be reminded myself of where we've come.
And that is something that we talk about all the time. We've gotten this new life back, right? Because we were morbidly obese for our whole lives. And so that's why we believe in living life beyond the couch. We're going to encourage you to live life beyond the couch. It doesn't mean you need to go ziplining.
No.
It doesn't mean you need to go skydiving, but do something. And another key thing before we get into the comments from the last week that's kind of been like, you know, a summary of everybody is weight loss is not what we're doing this for. I know that you may think you're doing this for weight loss, but if your why is weight loss, I want you to find a new why. Weight loss is the smallest part of keto. When you look at all of the things that keto, carnivore, eating the proper human diet can do for you, weight loss is on the bottom of the list. It's like, one of the speakers, it's like, after she went through all of the medications she was off and the healing of her body and her mind and the things that have been reversed. And she's like, and by the way,
I lost some weight.
That's where we want you guys to be, because your weight, like we said, is going to fluctuate on a daily basis. But when you are healing your diabetes, when you are healing your inflammation, when you're getting off of medications, when you're feeling better, when you're able to walk for the first time, the weight, not that big of a deal.
Well, I got to tell you, one of the most beautiful moments on the cruise so far was just asking, like, how many people are on a cruise for the first time in their life?
More than half the room.
It was just the sea of hands and just realizing that this is a life experience. This is a brand new life experience, and we are able to have new life experiences no matter where we are in life. And that's really precious. It's just really a precious, precious gift. Some people, you know, I was 46 years old before I was able to experience cruising for the first time. There's people here that are over 50, over 60, and just starting a new chapter of their life, you know, right now for the first time. So it's never too late.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to jump right in with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This was an inspirational post I found on our Mighty Networks group. It's from Becca. And Becca said, there is literally nothing in nature that blooms all year long. So do not expect yourself to do so.
I really appreciate that. She also says that, you know, that she had like seen that recently. And Becca has gone through like quite a keto journey, like with lots of ups and downs. And I think that the greatest testimony that we can share is we're here. We're still here. We're showing up for every new day. And, you know, every day is going to be a little different. And it can be challenging sometimes. It's not just because like, hey, we know what we're supposed to be eating now, or, you know, we know what we're supposed to be getting out of our life, that everything is just going to go hunky-dory, right? Like there's still going to be challenges in life, and you being like everything great, it is not a testimony of living life to the fullest. It's you're getting back up every day and giving every day your best.
So we're going to move on to our subscriber of the weeks. These were posts from people who have had some success in one aspect or another. First one's going to be from Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
Melissa said, I normally don't post, but these 4 pictures are 4 months apart. I've been strict carnivore for 78 days.
Wow.
Excuse the dirty mirror. It's the mirror at work. Non-scale victory. I can now walk down the aisle of my school bus without turning sideways. Oh, and tomorrow is the last day of school. And take a look at these pictures. We will put these, obviously, in the video.
My gracious, you look amazing. But just look at that. That is a difference at work. And think about, like, how many times do you go up and down that aisle? And how many times have you had to shift yourself and now being able to walk down that aisle? Like, that's what it's all about. Like, it is, it's awesome, the weight loss that you've experienced, but just the difference. Every single step at work is going to be different. Your whole daily experience is going to be different because of what you've done in prioritizing your personal health. Congratulations.
So the next subscriber of the week is going to be Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Jeff said, today I hit 288 minus 176 from December 2021, 52 jeans tight to 40 Wranglers and feeling great.
Oh, Jeff, way to go, buddy. Look amazing. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Okay, so let's take a quick commercial break and then we will come right back with comments.
I wonder where we are precisely. I know that there's a tracker on the phone, or not on the television set, that you can see where in the world you absolutely are. But today it's just been a lot of gorgeous blues and just completely surrounded by water. And I gotta say, I keep pointing it out to you like, oh my gosh, it's just us and the serenity of just vast blueness and beautiful skies all around us. Pretty cool.
So I did want to mention, I meant to mention it earlier, is that right now Perfect Keto does have their Memorial Day sale going on. This is their second best sale of the year. And honestly, we have no idea what Black Friday sale going to look like this year because they're just kind of coming back. So we've got new owners where the original owners became the new owners. And so there's a sale going on right now. Good through, I think it's tomorrow. All the details are down below, but it's up to 35% off. It's a buy more, save more kind of sale. So use that link down below if you're looking to get some stuff from Perfect Keto. Again, up to 35% off. We really appreciate you guys for supporting the companies that support Two Crazy Ketos.
And let me stop for a second and say happy Memorial Day to everybody. Like, we're sorry that we're not all together for Memorial Day. Let us know in the comments what you're doing for Memorial Day, because I got to tell you, we joke about it, but no kidding, I use it in the elevator every single morning is what day it is. And I could not have told you that it's Sunday right now. I could not have told you without,
even this morning,
without the floor.
I'm like, we have an extra day for Keto Beyond the Couch. And you're like, dear,
no.
Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
Yeah, completely. I lose track of time when I'm on a ship.
That's a good thing.
Okay, so first comment we have is from Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa.
Vanessa said, I've been eating this way for 10 months and just no longer see a ketone reading higher than 0.1. My blood sugar readings are in the 70s and 80s pretty much every day. I've got about 22 pounds I'd like to lose. I've got a hard time meeting my protein goal most days as well. I guess I just need some insight on ideas of what I can do differently. And so, Vanessa, this is actually something that was talked about through some of the talks today.
Yeah, Maria Emmerich was talking about this.
There's a lot of different things that could be happening. First of all, you've been doing keto for almost a year. As we progress in keto, our bodies get more adapted, and a lot of times it doesn't show up in your blood. The bottom line is if you want really high levels of ketones, that does require you to do some fasting, eating way under your caloric in. You need to eat a much higher fat. But here's the thing. This was kind of across the board, all speakers. Higher ketones doesn't mean better weight loss.
No.
As a matter of fact, like you had Dr. Dom D'Agostino, talked about like some of the research is actually finding that higher ketone levels could actually inhibit your weight loss. It could make it harder to lose weight. Like you don't need higher ketone level. It means you're utilizing those ketones.
That's good news.
If you're at a 0.1 or a 0.2 and you are not following a strict ketogenic diet. For example, you're following net carbs instead of total carbs. You're not tracking your carbs. Maybe you're not realizing you've got hidden carbs from spices, heavy whipping cream, because all heavy whipping cream has carbs.
Cheese.
Eating too much cheese, because every ounce of cheese has at least one carb. Like I could eat 20 carbs of cheese in a day. Those little things, there's a chance that you're not completely in nutritional ketosis all the time. But there's a lot of things that are going on. So if you are following a strict ketogenic diet, if you're having results on the scale, if you're having results in measurements, I wouldn't worry about it. Some people have higher ketones than others. Rachel's ketones are always higher than mine. That's just something that happens. Also, remember this, that when you're using that blood meter, you're measuring unused ketones. So if you're getting a 0.2, a 0.3, or even a 0.1, that means your body's making ketones, you're just using them.
Right.
But you don't need high ketones to lose weight, unless you're doing this for therapeutic brain injuries, if you're doing it to work with Alzheimer's, epilepsy, mental disorders, that's where you need to have the higher ketone readings. But there's a lot of things at play that could result in having a lower ketone reading. You're eating too much protein, though I don't know what your protein goal is. You just say you're having a hard time getting it in. All of those different, not having enough sleep, that was a big thing.
Oh, that has been across the board.
Failure to get good sleep, and good sleep, like 7-8 hours a night, that's something that I am guilting of. And failure to manage stress, like even just a little bit of excess stress can lower your ketones. And something that really hit home with me was, I believe it was it
Dr. Vega was
Dr.
talking.
Vega? No, I believe it was Dr. Dom D'Agostino that talked about how if you skip sleep just once, like how long that takes to repair. And I did admit to everybody here, like I probably skip a night's sleep once a week. Like how much damage am I doing by doing that? And that is something, I know I've said it before, but it's something that I have to focus on is sleep.
Well, and what was nice was, we talked about like immediately implementing some things. So here we are, Joe's working on the sleep. We've got a couple of days. You're sleeping great. You're working on it right now. And so as we go home, it's like, how can we continue what's already happening on this 9 days, 8 nights? For 8 nights, you're sleeping good. That's a great track record to begin with. And you can go home and extend that, continue having, good results with that. But yeah, a lot of times Dr. Vega was saying this morning about how there's really like 11 different points that we're looking at. I mean, where's your sunlight? Where is your...
It's like a circle around you.
Strength training, all of these different things. Because sometimes we like to really laser focus on one area at the abandonment of other things going on in our life. So if you're like, gosh, I am just so good at my food, but I never leave my house, especially between the hours of the optimum hours of 10 and 2, where you can really take advantage of that sunlight and get the best benefits of vitamin D. Like there's room for improvement in other areas. So don't just hyper focus on one area to the neglection of all the others.
Well, and that hit home with me because I've always talked about I've done this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. So what happens if I'm missing this one thing? Not that big of a deal. And I can't repeat because I don't remember it. Like you only remember
Verbatim.
7 to 10%. So I'm gonna simplify it in Joe terms. Let's say your weight loss journey, your health journey is a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the game Breakout?
Oh, yeah.
Right, where you had the ball and you hit the thing and it bounced up and it hit the thing and it bounced up. So let's say that circle, you're in the middle and you're the ball.
Okay.
And you're playing Breakout. And let's say you have 10, 11 things like your sleep, your sunlight, your food, your stress management, all of that is around.
Okay.
Each one represents like closing up that circle. If you take one thing out, my sleep, that leaves a gap in that circle.
Gaping hole.
As that ball is bouncing around, it's going to go out that hole.
Right.
So now, if all other 9 things I'm doing perfect, it doesn't matter because I'm not inside the circle anymore.
Right.
That I have to work on all of them to keep that circle closed. And he is the like talking about a string, but it's the same kind of thing. I've got to keep that circle closed, which means I need to work on all of them and not go, well, my sleep or my food is good and my stress management good and this is good, so who cares about the sleep?
Well, and that's not to make people say like, oh my goodness, I've only been concerned about one thing and now you're telling me I need to be like,
We have to work on it all.
But not to, I don't want people to hear like, oh my gosh, I need to be fearful about 10 things. You don't need to be fearful about even one thing. You need to come to this with like just a common sense approach. It seems right and reasonable.
Don't neglect
the others, but we can do this in a calm manner. We can understand that, like, hey, we eat when the sun is out. We stop eating when the sun goes down, right? If it's time for bed, we need rest. We need sleep. If the sun is out, we probably need some sunshine. So we can be very calm as we address all of these issues, but all of these issues matter.
Yeah, and that's my point was, I've been going 9 out of the 10 things I'm doing okay with.
And one I'll just completely abandon.
I'm just going to completely ignore the 10th thing. And he's like, you can't, because now you can escape. Right. And so it was a good thing for me that, like, I may not get the sleep to perfection right away, but I need to start working on closing that hole up.
And I appreciate the fact that, like, speakers like Coach Nat said, you know, don't get worried about it. Purpose in your heart. I'm going to get 1% better every day.
Next one is from Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Craig said, looking for the best keto chow ice cream recipe to use with the creamy deluxe. Any recipes?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing about keto chow and creamies. You don't need a recipe.
Super easy. I mean,
there are people who make recipes, but I'm going to give you a perfect recipe. You're going to get a perfect ice cream every time. What you're going to do is you're going to take your keto chow creamy container. You have to make a decision. Do you want to use melted butter or do you want to use heavy whipping cream? If you're going to use melted butter, you're going to warm the butter. I'm always going to recommend 4 tablespoons of melted butter or 4 ounces of heavy cream. Don't use less. The ice cream's not as good. I know people are going to tell you, oh, this is what I use. If you want a good, you're asking for a good ice cream recipe, 4 tablespoons of melted butter or 4 ounces of heavy cream, because you want ice cream.
You don't want
ice milk. It's going to make
it
fatty. And this is a meal, by the way. Okay, so if you're using melted butter, melt that butter. Then you're going to get warm water. Got to be at least 90 degrees. You're going to fill that cup, that creamy cup that you put the melted butter, just below the line on your creamy container. You're going to take that warm water and that butter, you're going to dump it in your blender, and you're going to add into there 1 serving of keto chow. From there, if you want to add a little bit more sweetener, you can. If you can get your hands on some Terra-Gum, I'll leave a link for it down below. You're going to use 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of Terra-Gum at the very end. So blend it up really well. The last 10 seconds, add that Terra-Gum. Then you're going to pour that into your creamy container and freeze it. You'll get perfect ice cream every time. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to do. If you're using heavy whipping cream, you don't have to put it in the blender, although I usually put it in the blender on low just to make sure it mixes really well. But you don't need warm water if you're using heavy whipping. And it's as simple as that. You don't need to add anything else. That's the perfect recipe, because now you're going to have the right amount of water and you're not going to have a diffused flavor.
Well, there's one more point, Joe.
Okay.
You have to make sure you choose your favorite flavor of keto chow. Flavor is going to be key. So leave in the comments down below, what do you suggest is the best flavor for ice cream if you're having a keto chow ice cream?
And again, if you want keto chow, use the link down below. That link will always give you 10% off everything except for subscriptions.
You know what's better than regular keto chow ice cream?
What?
Cheaper keto chow ice cream.
Yeah. Next one's from Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Lynn said, non-scale victory. I went keto in October of 2022. I've lost inches and fit in my old skinny clothes.
Yes.
Not really skinny, but I haven't been able to wear them for some of these items for at least 7 to 10 years. And I couldn't bring myself to give them away.
I'm glad you didn't.
Thank God I didn't, or I would have had to buy a new wardrobe. I have gone off 2 medications that I no longer need. I also have less pain and inflammation. And today I looked in the mirror and I no longer have the skin tag on my eyelid that I've had for the past several years. It's just gone. For me, slow and steady is what is working. I had to let go of the idea that weight would come off quickly, because it hasn't. But I still see so many positive effects from this way of eating that I am sticking to it. Because of my way of eating, my diabetic husband is also eating lower carb and has seen his A1C go lower. Although he is not quite as committed as I am and his little cheat snacks, he is headed in a much healthier direction. Is this not how we started off? And I didn't even know this comment was in here. I forgot about it.
That is so amazing. And to me, this is what you want as a couple. right? You're continuing to be a lighthouse. You didn't just quit just because the progress that you were hoping for came at a pace that was different than what you imagined. And because you have stuck to it, not only have you had amazing results, and I am so glad that you're back in your skinny clothes as you talk about them, but I am really glad that you are off of that medication. Like, what a blessing that is, and also makes room for finances so that you can buy some more clothes if you would like to add accessories to your existing wardrobe. But then on top of that, through your consistency, it's helped your partner in life to also want to make some changes. And I love the fact that even though he's not exactly where you are, ain't no shame in that game, right?
Yep.
Like, you are cheering for him right where he is at and noticing the victory that is there. And I think that that is the most important thing, that you are being consistent, and it's making a difference in his life as well.
So Lynn just gave me the title for this week's Keto Beyond the Couch.
Okay.
Keto is not for weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay, and I haven't said this in a while, so I'm going to say it here because I know we have a lot of new subscribers.
Welcome.
I want you to ask yourself this. If you're trying to lose weight but also have other medical issues, maybe there's other things, but your primary focus or reason for coming to keto was to lose weight. What if you never lost another pound, but you reversed your type 2 diabetes, you got off of medications, you felt better, you could play with your grandkids, you could move, you could go on a cruise, you could fill in the blank, do anything that you can think of, but not lose weight? Would you be okay with it?
Well, and I can say for myself, like, it's wonderful to be able to wear a smaller size, but think about where I was just 10 years ago, how much medication that I personally was on, my mental wellness journey, like, I mean, my brain health and how different it is. I couldn't even talk one-on-one to another person. And now I'm able to live such a fuller life that I'm able to experience something like this, where I can even come into a social arena like this. It wasn't just that I was concerned about seasickness, all of these years when it comes to like never going on a cruise. I wasn't sure that I could be with a bunch of people on a boat.
So let me ask you, before we move on, if I came to you and said, you have to gain 100 pounds
okay,
on keto. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go back
weight-wise.
200, let's bring you all the way back to 300 pounds. But you would no longer have anxiety. You would no longer see stars. You would be able to get down on the ground and play with your grandchild, even though you weighed 300 pounds. Would you be okay with that?
I would eat keto forever for the brain health, to no longer live a life trapped inside of myself, never being able to pursue helping other people because I couldn't reach out to other people. There was no way for me to serve other people. So yes, I mean, I'm thankful for the weight loss, but I'm even more thankful that it has taken a back seat to health, to wellness.
And the good news is, weight loss is a side effect of all of those things. It just may take a little while, and we want you to be okay with that. Lynn is okay with that, and that's why the title of this week is going to be Keto's Not for Weight Loss. Next one is from Danny.
Hey, Danny.
Danny said, I'm having trouble watching a person slowly killing themselves. My niece is 27, is diabetic and obese with 1-year-old baby. How can I sit and watch her eat and feed sugar-filled candy to the baby, knowing what it is doing? My heart is aching. I try so hard not to speak up, but it's really hard. How do you deal with watching people you care about not care enough to take care of themselves? Unfortunately, Danny, there's not much you're going to be able to do other than be a lighthouse and live by an example and pray that she will see it. But I'm going to tell you, most people, I think, are like me. And if you try to ram it down my throat, I'm going to push back harder.
Well, and I think about not just in the health arena, but, when it comes to food and nutrition, certainly that's something. But, I've thought a lot about that. I've wanted to help advise somebody when it comes to drinking, substance abuse. I've wanted to hopefully help someone see the light when it comes to them being in a toxic marriage. I've thought about, like, gosh, I don't think that is a good idea what you're doing as far as like some of the other life choices that you are making. I think that you're gambling with your life in other arenas, but until somebody is ready to even contemplate making a change for themselves, like you can't make them can't make it for them, because they are free to make their own decisions. So again, continue to be that lighthouse, like Joe is saying, in front of them, and let them see you be fulfilled. Let them see you laughing, enjoying life, feeling good in your body, and seeing that your pleasure is not just found in your food. You know, a lot of times we settle for that. There was a couple that I met here on the cruise that was talking about how they've been doing like extended cruising, like months at a time. And that's something that is possible, that it's like something like Royal Caribbean will like chain together like cruises so that you can stay on a ship for an extended period of time. And so they're doing fantastic, enjoying their life so much. And they were just showing me how they make a keto protocol work on a ship, especially for a long period of time. And some of the people back home, when they go back to home base, were saying like, gosh, it's so sad that you're not like living life to the fullest because they're not incorporating sugar. And they're like, do you understand? I am literally
living on a cruise ship.
Like, I am seeing the world. I feel great in my body.
Don't have to make your bed.
I am enjoying my spouse, and like we feel younger than ever. And you're thinking that like, what is the missing thing in my life is candy?
Yeah.
So, it's just that they're thinking that maybe that they're settling for that as a pleasure source.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We have a video coming out later this week talking about people who push against us, like in our own lives. And one thing that we did not mention in that video, which is I'm going to mention here, and it's something we've talked about before, but we never, and it kind of applies here, is sometimes people push back so hard because they see you doing something new and you've tried a million diets in the past, and every time within a couple weeks, a couple of months, you quit. At least that's what a lot of us do. And I think a lot of our friends, our family, our loved ones figure, this is just another thing that you're going to quit.
It's not going to stick or stay.
And it's not going to stick. So why bother getting involved? But again, as you're a lighthouse, the longer you do this, the more they see everything that you're able to accomplish and your health benefits, the more they start going, huh.
This may work long term.
And that is going to be how you're going to get through to them, is by you just being an example. Next one is from Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Andy said, does anybody happen to know how xylitol affects blood sugar, insulin levels, etc., compared to other sweeteners? Saw a few products containing it. So a couple things about xylitol. First of all, xylitol is deadly for dogs and other animals. So if you are going to use xylitol or purchase xylitol products, make sure you keep it far out of reach from your dog. Something as small as a piece of chewing gum can kill your dog.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't let your dog get that. So xylitol is in a lot of like gums and stuff like that because dentists consider it safer for your teeth over sugar. Some people say it's good for your teeth. I don't know about that. I have not seen that evidence. I know it's not bad for your teeth, but I've not seen any like strong evidence. And if you've got any of that documentation other than just people saying it, let me know. Link it down below. But it won't cause tooth decay, but I haven't seen anything saying that like this is going to reverse tooth decay.
Right.
But with that being said, so that's why you see it in a lot of gums because it's like dentist approved. But the thing about xylitol is not 0 on the glycemic index. It is actually a 13. What does that mean? That means that it will elicit a true insulin response. So you've heard us and Dr. Berry and others talk about something called the cephalic insulin response, which is when your body gets something sweet, even if it's stevia or something like that. In some people, your body begins to release a little bit of insulin because it thinks it's getting sugar and it wants to deal with that sugar coming in. So it will temporarily release a little bit of insulin, and then when it realizes, oh, I didn't get the sugar, it stops, but you've still had an insulin reaction. So it's kind of like a placebo effect, basically. Doesn't happen in everybody, and there's still a lot of studies going on it. Well, xylitol actually will elicit an insulin response. A small one, 13 is very low on the glycemic index, but it will still elicit a glycemic response or a insulin response. And for some people, and everybody is different, and we always say you got to test yourself, it will slightly raise glucose. Sometimes it's a much slower response, which is why they can put it in diabetes products, because it's not as quick acting as sugar. And again, 13 is low. A lot of people use it on keto. We have, but just be aware it is not zero. So it will always, in everybody, elicit some type of an insulin response. It's just a very small one.
Well, and that's something to consider, like not something to be fearful about, but to consider if you're somebody like me who really used to chew a lot of gum. And I mean, RV Unplugged season 2 is coming out this week, and you guys are going to notice as you watch those episodes that a nervous habit that I have, or just to help with the nervousness, because I was a bit anxious, as far as like not knowing what's coming next, and you're part of all these challenges. So I did chew gum. But if you're somebody like me who used to chew a ton of gum in a day, we're talking like, a pack of gum a day sometimes, and sometimes even more, you have to think about like what is happening with that, especially if it is sweetened with xylitol.
So xylitol is one of those products where I always talk about count total carbs. If you're going to have a product that has sugar, alcohols, and fiber, and you want to start moving into total carbs, but you're not ready completely, or maybe you're doing a dessert day, I always say don't deduct the fiber, but go ahead and deduct the sugar, alcohols. Xylitol is one of those, and this is why total carbs is easier, no math, right? But xylitol is one where I would say only deduct half. So if it's got 10 grams of xylitol, I would only deduct 5 if you're playing that net carb game, just because, again, your body will elicit a response from it.
But I can guarantee you, I have had days where I have ingested 20 total carbs of gum.
Yeah.
Just gum.
Yeah,
I mean,
the average
we haven't
piece
eaten
is
anything yet.
2 carbs.
Yeah.
Next one's from Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Scott said, I have some amazing news. 8 weeks ago at the doctor, I weighed 286 pounds. Yesterday, I had to go back to a while to get some bad news. Oh. And we were working around that I weighed in at 251.
Wow.
I've not seen that range in so many years. Only 51 more pounds to go.
I am so proud of you, Scott. I'm sorry that you had received some bad news, but I'm really excited for you and how close you are to the goal that you've set for yourself.
Next one's from Audrey.
Hey, Audrey.
Audrey said non-scale victory and a non-scale victory and a scale victory for my husband this week. He gets his blood work done at almost every doctor appointment. In November, his triglycerides were 216. In February, there were 156. This week, there were 85.
What?
I don't remember the HDL and the other numbers, but they're all within range, except for the LDL, which is a little low. And he was down 14 pounds in 3
Oh
months.
my gracious, Audrey, we are rejoicing with you. That is some amazing, amazing results.
Okay, next one is from Hospy.
Hey, Hospy.
Said, so my husband generally makes fun of my keto diet. He loves the fact that I'm off all medications and the weight loss. However, since it is summer and he has so much outside work to do in our homestead, he doesn't like to cook. I refuse to cook non-keto, so he has been eating my food for about 2 weeks, maybe 3. He occasionally adds a piece of toast. Well, he's lost 13 pounds.
Oh,
now 17 more to go.
Wow, that is kind of hilarious. And you don't mind it at all, right? Like you were definitely somebody, we were joking with the presenters today, and the question that I had for them was, everybody that was presenting, what is your favorite cooking device? What is the most used cooking device in your household? And I'd love to know, what is your most used device in your household? Put it down in the comments down below. My answer was Joe. Joe is the most used cooking device in my household because he has cooked for me. That was one of the agreements that we made when we first went keto. I was like, I will commit to this, but you've got to cook all the food. And so he was like, done, I'll do it if you're going to go keto with me. So you cooking the food has helped to transform his life. How wonderful.
Next one's from Sarah, FNP Feel Good. Said, when I try to explain good oils versus bad oils to patients, I tell them healthy oils, this is great. Healthy oils are oils that come from food that actually has fat in it. So it obviously, animal fats, your fatty fruits like avocados and olives, The only caveat to that would be peanut oil, which isn't the worst, but it's definitely not great. Yeah,
I love it.
Peanut oil is one. It's like, listen, we do try to avoid it, but on the scale of oils, like it's one that if you came to me, let's say wings, okay?
Yeah.
So we tend to always get our wings from Buffalo Wild Wings because they cook their wings in beef tallow. There's one other place by us that we will get wings from, and that is Wings Plus, because they fry their wings in peanut oil. It's not optimal, but it's better than canola oil.
Exactly.
Right. So she said it isn't the worst, but it's definitely not great. Seeds also would not be included in this, but vegetables and corn are not significant sources of fat. So why would they be good sources for oil?
That is a great thought.
Like, yeah, when you think about corn, do you ever think about oil?
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a piece of corn and squeezed it and it been fatty? No.
No.
Right?
So why are you using it as a fat source?
And it's the way they make these oils that make it inflammatory, because oil, to make them, they have to add heat. Well, if you know anything about cooking, heat makes it more volatile, it makes it rancid, and that's happening in your body.
Yeah. And what a great way to explain it, because then, when you hear it and you say it out loud, it makes sense.
It makes much more sense. Next one's from Kind Eyes.
Hi, Kind Eyes.
Hi, I'm a female, 75, lost a lot of hand strength. I have a Ninja Q to mix things, but I can no longer unscrew the blade attachment from it. I'm looking into a blender, but I'm afraid I won't be able to unscrew it either. Is a Ninja Creamy easier, or a Vitamix blender? I have a desire for Keto Chow ice cream, but I can only make coffee Keto Chow now. To melt butter, I add. I'm in a conundrum. Okay, so as far as the blender, Vitamix is obviously going to be better than a Ninja because you don't have to unscrew anything.
Right.
It's just a standard blender. When you look at regular blenders, it's got a lid. It's just super, super high speed. When it comes to making ice cream, we have a video on making ice cream with a Vitamix. It takes a little bit of practice. It's about adding ice in the perfect amount of water and tamping it down. I call it more like a Wendy's soft serve than true ice cream. If you want to use a regular ice cream, you have two options. You can get your traditional ice cream maker, like the Cuisinart one. I'll try to leave a link for one down below. That's where you take your bowl, the ice cream, the frozen bowl. You stick it in your freezer for 24 hours. Then you're going to pour your Keto Chow in there, and 30 minutes later, it scrapes and scrapes and scrapes. You have ice cream. That's one way, or the Ninja Creamy. The Ninja Creamy is by far the easiest way, because you have this machine. You're going to put your Keto Chow into that container, as we said earlier, put it in the freezer. You can have a ton of them ready to go. Like, we have like 15 of them at home ready to go. But it's not as bad as like using the Ninja Bullet or anything to unscrew the top.
But it's not.
But you do have to have
totally
a little
easy.
bit of strength, but not nearly as much, because the thing is going to drop down. You're going to press a button and you have to twist it just like a locking twist, if that makes sense. Try watching the video we have on how to use the Ninja Creamy and see if you could do that. I'll try to remember to link it up here.
And what's the other one where you set it up and close it? Is that the Breeze?
That's the Breeze.
And
that's probably the easiest one to use if you don't have a lot of hand strength.
I feel like the Breeze would be a better fit than the other.
I'll put a link up for the most recent one where we compare them, because you're going to be able to see the difference. But that's where I would go if you're going to get the Ninja. If you really want ice cream, the Creamy is going to be the easiest. If you just need a blender, a Vitamix will be great for you. Next one's from Linda.
Hey, Linda.
What liquid do you use to make Keto Chow ice cream? One packet on package of ice cream, it says how much liquid. Okay, so if you're making ice cream, again, in a creamy, heavy cream and water, or butter and water. Okay, and remember, the butter's got to be melted, the water's got to be warm when you're going that way. How much liquid depends on which creamy container you're using. The easiest way is to fill it to the line. Okay, so if you've got the traditional one, it's going to be a little bit less water than if you have the deluxe. If you have the original one or the Breeze, or if you have one of those, it's a little bit less water. I feel like you end up using about 14 ounces of water, maybe 12 ounces of water. Or use the bigger one, the deluxe, you end up with like 16 ounces of water. Fill it to the line. That's what you're going to do. You're going to fill it to the line. So when you put everything in, you come right to the line with your fat source, your water, and your Keto Chow. Next one's from Terry.
Hi, Tammy.
Tammy, I'm sorry. Okay, this is about RV Unplugged. I think this is the last one. Maybe not. I just watched a trailer, and I feel pretty sure that I saw a photo of Joe skydiving. I can't wait for the next week to start watching. I will admit, I can say this. I wanted to take credit for it so bad. That is not me skydiving. That is one of the coaches, Phil.
From Today is Someday.
From Today is Someday. I did want to take credit because I know it looks like me. And I have asked Rachel.
Yes.
If you had to jump out of a plane for a reality show, would you do it?
I would. It was interesting. I was talking to somebody on the cruise.
You can.
I know. I can. But it has to do with like how important is your why? Like, why are you doing this? And for me, I took the commitment to be a part of the team very seriously. When I thought, you're selecting us as contestants for this, then I need to show up. I can't be like half in and have this whole list of things that I won't do. So for this season of life, I thought, okay, whatever they ask of me, I'm just going to do it. Yes. The answer is yes. And I'm just going to do it. But now, like Joe has said, hey, we could do an excursion, or we could do something where, like
You're not
bungee
doing
jumping,
it unless something is on the line.
But I have not made that same commitment of like, yes, no matter what the answer is, yes, I'm all in. And so, yeah, now I would not do it in this season. If we were to be like, let's say they come back and they say, hey, we want you to come back for some reason, right? And do it again. If I would commit to doing the season, then yes, the answer would be yes. Right now, when I am not committed to something, the answer is no.
What if one of our subscribers often said they all I want is when I lose 200 pounds, Rachel, to jump out of an airplane.
I will come to where you are, and I will be holding the GoPro at the bottom to capture your landing, your safe landing.
Okay. So before we even move on, we have one more question or one more comment. Again, a reminder. Episode 1, Season 2, RV Unplugged, airs this Wednesday. If you're watching this on Monday. This Wednesday, May 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be live in the chat.
As best as we can.
We'll be live in the chat. That I know we can do.
We're still in a ship.
We'll be live in the chat. After that, they're going to have a live Q&A with the cast. We think we have found where we can go to have internet to be in that live Q&A. So we're going to do our best. I can't promise, but we're going to do our best to be there. Hopefully we have good internet and they grab us first before we lose the internet. Don't miss Wednesdays. You don't want to miss this Wednesday. You don't want to miss, for the sake of Rachel, you do not want to miss this Wednesday, live 8 p.m. On Thursday, on our camping channel, Two Crazy Campers, we will release our reaction to episode 1. Now that reaction is behind the scenes footage, and then also how we felt on those days. We do have an intro and an ending that we filmed recently, but everything inside, when I say those are reactions, those were raw reactions in the moment.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. That is all raw and real. That's not us thinking back to what was going through our head at that time. So I'm sorry.
Do us a big favor.
Represent 2KK.
Represent 2KK. Let them know that you're cheering for Two Crazy Ketos. Not just, I don't feel like it's just Joe and Rachel. But it's
the 2KK family.
It's the 2KK family. So it's just such a blessing to see you guys, together saying like, hey, 2KK all the way. So that's a blessing. Let them know that Crazy Keto sent you.
Well, here's the thing. Did y'all watch the interview we did with Todd and Tony?
Yeah.
Did you catch the part where they said, you never know, maybe we'll have a reunion show with previous cast, and based on like fan favorites, we need you to represent? Because I would go. Would you go back?
I would go back.
Would you go back if they told you come back, but you have to jump out of a plane if you come back?
I would come back.
Okay. So we need you to represent so that if they ever have a reunion show, we get invited. Because I want to do it again. I want to try some new things. Last one is from Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Jackie said, it's becoming too expensive to eat meat, not because of grocery prices, but because of the number of shirts that I have ruined with grease stains. I'm currently using Dawn. Is there anything better? Maybe a bib.
I actually, Brianna.
Dawn is the best thing.
Yeah, Dawn is fantastic. I actually have an adult bib that, like, if I am wearing something that I just do not, like a top I do not want to risk, I wear, and no regrets. Okay, so like there's sometimes I want to protect the clothing. It's fine. I find that over the course of my keto journey, the grease stain has changed. When we first started, I had more up top, and so the grease stain was always like in this one location. I could always guarantee it was like right here, and now to a certain extent, it'll be like on my tummy or on my thigh, even if there's no resistance up here on the shelf.
Well, that is going to be the end of Keto Beyond the Couch. I think we're going to miss the game show. That's okay, because you guys are more important. So that's the end of this week's Keto Beyond the Couch. We will be back live next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with another Keto Beyond the Couch. And from what I understand, a very special announcement possibly, right? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But you're going to have to make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you hit that bell button to find out about it. But we'll be back live next Thursday. Again, no live stream this week because we are on the cruise ship and you just can't rely on the internet. If we ever find a good spot throughout the ship, maybe during one of the port days where we have some downtime, we can find good internet, we'll pop in live for Mighty Networks.
We'll do our best.
In our Meatheads group, right? So if you like seeing videos like this, please do us a favor. Hit the video right over here. And also check out one of our most recent videos I'm going to put right over there.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to the channel and click the little bell icon. And that way, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time.
Happy Memorial Day.